Hello, welcome to Wondermous, a healthcare leadership journey. My name's Merikay Hunt. I am your hostess, and I'm so excited today. We have a healthcare rock star with us. Her name is Ashley Vertuno, and she's with HCA Healthcare down in Florida. So, Ashley, thank you for joining us. And I would love for us to kick off with you sharing with our audience what inspired your healthcare leadership journey.
Well, Mary Kay, thank you so much for having me today. This is just an honor to be able to share a little bit of insight from my perspective in leadership and in healthcare, but also just being on your show.
Thank you.
When you talk about inspiration, there's a lot that goes into that, into I'd say every role that I've played, but overall, when you think of healthcare as a whole, it is a calling. It is
Mm,
really about serving others. And we talk a lot, probably in healthcare leadership, around servant leadership. And the inspiration comes from seeing other people in those servant roles and really taking that to the next level. I really got inspired at a very young age to wanting to be an orthopedic surgeon. Started out wanting to be a
mm,
doctor. My
okay.
mom, as a kid, she actually tore her ACL, and I got really fascinated by science and looking at her videos that the orthopedic surgeons would create from the laparoscopic surgeries. And that was just, I think, the tipping point of understanding science versus the human element of healthcare. And from
Mm,
there, it really transformed and I'd say moved into an evolution of what I thought healthcare was at that point. And I utilized my background in soccer and having the ability to play on a team, as well
mhm,
as being a assistant soccer coach as well, and using my skill set to train and develop other soccer players and utilize their skill set for what they're good at. All of that morphed into, I'd say, my inspiration and being in healthcare and translating into where I'm at today, and that is leading teams to really save lives and
mm,
have an impact on the people that we serve internally inside the hospital, plus
sure.
externally in the community too.
I love that you're a soccer player. I didn't know that. What I gotta ask because I was too, and a coach. What position did you play?
I actually started as a forward all the way up until my junior year of high school, and then they moved me to outside mid, which, goes into thinking about your role and how you're versatile and you're learning new skills. It
Yeah.
was awesome, and so now, I mean, ultimately, I'm an outside mid. I've played both left and right, and I loved it. I
That's awesome.
loved it.
Well, and being a former athlete, I think one of the things that's so important is taking care of yourself so that you can take care of other people. What have you done to really achieve some work life integration as you are in your leadership role so that you avoid burnout and stay focused and healthy?
That has been something I would say I've had to develop over the years.
Hmm.
So, yes, being an athlete, I was structured. I had discipline in terms of when I ate, when I worked out, and so forth. But when you add all of that into a 24/7 operation, which is what we do on a daily basis, taking care of patients and family in a hospital, it is 24/7. And you do have to integrate where you can balance yourself. For me today, it is about mental, physical, and emotional fitness, and
Mm,
you really have to take into account what is your optimal time to work out, what is your optimal time to really focus and balance. And I've found, for me, it's in the mornings.
mm,
I'm in the gym early, but it also is my reset time. I
sure.
know that I can have a moment to, whether it's and I'm not, I'd say I'm getting better at this, but trying to use meditation and certain things
Sure.
to turn your brain off, because there's so much going on that we really want to stay focused on one thing, or have that time to recenter ourselves. So I'd say
Hmm.
my morning prior to coming into the facility, my team knows that's my time, and that's the time that
Right.
I really focus on, because if I'm able to work out, if I'm able to have that focused time before I come into the hospital, it
Sure.
allows me to show up better for my team. And I
Mm,
really tried to emulate that, but also talk about it because
right.
other people have their own ways to doing either of those things.
Right. No, I think that's awesome. And, it's those boundaries and saying no and making yourself a priority. That's really self leadership. And when you think of your leadership journey, has there been some key people that have served as role models or mentors for you?
You can't do this job alone. Uh, and that is part of the development and the journey along the way. Having coaches that help to really translate what you're good at, and then you actually learn from it and either gain better skills or
Hmm.
try to figure out how to not focus on some of we call them balconies and basements if you use, strength finders, but try to get yourself out of that basement mindset.
Right.
I would say ultimately, having the right mentors that you have observed, that you find their character and how they've been able to deliver on their hospital or their profession,
Hmm.
someone you should look up towards and actually aspire to be. And
Mm,
those individuals have definitely helped along my journey. It also has been around my athletic journey too, is having that athletic mindset. I embrace coaching. I think it is one of the most rewarding things that you can do is if you surround yourself with coaches that have the ability to tap into skills. And
hmm.
also, what we've done here is we've actually put into place team coaching where it's not
Mm, nice.
just individual coaching, but it's for your team as well. I mean, look at the Dodgers. So I'm a Dodgers fan, second time World Series winner. They have a team coach, right? That
Hmm.
actually is out there lifting up the team, motivating the team, but each one of those individuals that's on that team has a skills coach. And so you really
Mm,
have to tap into that in your own organization and what we do. And as my role as the in really I'd say chief encouragement officer is
yeah, there you go.
that.
I like that.
It is about lifting your team up, coaching and developing and tapping into their potential. And that's what mentors have done for me. I've actually created over my years personal board of directors. Some are in
Mm,
healthcare, some are not.
mhm.
Some are in roles that I aspire towards. Others are in roles that we just have a really good balance. And at the end of the day, it rounds out my leadership, but also gives
Mm,
constructive feedback that allows me to really build on my leadership style and then also build on how I can execute and deliver on what I need to deliver on.
sure. Well, and we can only do so much, right? So I'm curious, what has been a big learning lesson for you throughout your career? A challenge maybe that you overcame that really helped you develop?
I think really it comes down to just embracing failure,
Mm,
failing fast, learning from it,
mhm.
and then picking yourself back up and going again because that's where we learn. We
Right.
learn in those moments and we have I think a broader perspective at that point in time to then not do it again and
Right.
also have a I think a bigger impact in whatever deliverable you're going to be delivering on. Um, there's plenty of examples. Uh, but I think that really is the theme is that you have to embrace failure. We
Mm,
all have something that we've had to overcome and
mhm.
really push ourselves. And that's when, you look at just you look at your strategies, you look at your why. Why are you in healthcare to begin with?
Mhm.
Why were you called to this profession? I do lean into my faith as well, and I'm like, I know that I was put in this situation for a reason, gonna overcome it, and he's looking out for me up above, and so,
Oh,
trusting you to just continue to better yourself and better your team, and that has really been part of the journey.
sure. I love that you mentioned the Strengths Finders theme. And for those of you that have not heard of that book, it's Now Discover Your Strengths. Buckingham and Clifton co-wrote that together because they really felt like we weren't given corporate enough credit for what we do well. We're only focusing on what we, don't do well. And so I think that's what struck me when I first met you is your passion, excellent communication skills, and what are some of your key strengths that you've discovered through that inventory and then also throughout the years?
Well, if you actually look at my strength finders, the first one is futuristic, really
Mm,
taking a lens and broadening that to a macro perspective and really
nice.
just seeing what is to come. To a fault, it could be very optimistic and a little bit more risk taking, which I am. Uh,
Right.
and I think that that has actually been my superpower in
Mm,
many different ways. And I think that's why there's certain roles that I have taken on that um, it is not insurmountable to to achieve it and to
mm,
also bring a team together behind you to really support the overall mission there. So that is actually my number one in strength finders. And then overall, I think some key strengths has really been around the servant leader relationships and connecting people. The
mm,
connector component is really important. I mean, having the ability to connect one individual to someone else and
sure.
seeing things really develop from there. That's been one as well. And then on the relationship side, just using empathy, I actually call it strategic empathy now.
Ooh,
It
okay, I
from
like
that
that.
point, and it really is thinking strategic in terms of what is the overall outcome, but remembering that there is a human element and a human factor, and you have to tap
Mhm,
into that human factor to be able to actually have someone really deliver on the results that you're asking them to deliver on, and that's
absolutely.
something that I've actually developed over the years. I think the more exposure you have in healthcare, the more real life experiences you have in life shape
Mhm,
you as a leader and cultivate someone that has that empathetic side. Not everyone has empathy. Some of it you really
right.
do have to develop. And that's where I've really, in my own leadership journey, have built um, more development in that strategic
Mm.
empathy.
That's awesome. So I want to think about someone that's out there right now, maybe a practice manager or an administrator somewhere that is feeling led and called to do more and but might have a little bit of fear. What would you say to that person to encourage them to, go for the promotion or go for the interview so that they can grow their leadership? What kind of encouragement would you give to them?
I would just tell them to do it. There is no reason for you not to raise your hand.
Mm,
I mean, you talk if you actually research and you look at Michael Jordan, he'll quote, he he only was able to achieve the number of wins by taking the shot.
mm,
And that's I'm paraphrasing it, but
right,
he truly uh, he was successful because he kept taking the shot. And
right.
again,
Ooh, I got goosebumps when you said that.
yeah, I mean, you are going to have failures. You are
Yeah.
going to have jobs that really weren't the right role for you. I remember there was a time that I actually went for an interview and I was so bummed that I didn't get the role. Well, a couple months later, the next opportunity arose and it was a better team, leaders that I loved working with. And on top of it, created a culture that I was going to be influential in and
Right.
have an impact, and we were just a solid bond. The other
Wow.
organization ended up, not having, the right leader in its place for a very long time, and I think that's important to recognize, and I do tell
Mhm.
that to my team is to think about it when we're interviewing candidates for roles, keep in mind they're interviewing us too.
Right.
That's really important because it does go both ways. We may have an awesome team and we think we're great. However, they may not think that I'm going to fit into that team.
Right.
or in that organization and in that culture. And so I think that is something that I would say take the shot, but keep in mind if it's something you don't get, it's not the end all be all.
Mm. Well, and that plays so well into the theme of Robert Schuller, like doors closed because others are supposed to be opened. And I think what's really vital is not to take that event personally, but move from it. Because sometimes the no is not yet, like you said. So when you think of high functioning teams, what are some qualities and characteristics you feel like are really powerful for the teams that you have in place?
Diverse thought, I'd say, is
Mm,
probably one of the major ones because
okay.
that really will have an impact on the way that your team operates. That
Mhm.
would be one. The other is, we've actually put together team operating guidelines, but having a unified front.
Okay.
And again, that goes back into a little bit of the diverse thought.
Sure.
Everyone in the room can have an opinion and a thought, but when we actually exit that room, we are a unified front. And I think
Mm.
that's really important when you look at team development. And again, we all have skill sets. Got SMEs in your team, let them lead, let them use that skill, and that allows from a team aspect, it allows your team to feel empowered and that individual to really be able to deliver on what they say they're gonna deliver on, and that's where I would say each of those team members have their skill set, so being able to tap into that is critical, and there's
So,
plenty more.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's interesting to me because I think transparency and being willing to have those crucial slash fierce conversations when necessary is so important. And when you look at the people that you truly admire, what are some qualities or strengths that you look for to help serve you as you're leading?
They stand firm in their decision when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to doing the right things for patient care. I have definitely seen leaders that I look up to that are unwavered
Mm,
by, uh, specific things that may be happening around them and
mm-hmm.
staying calm, but ultimately remembering that it's a patient that we're here and we're here to, really help. And that is something I think is anchored in
Mm,
what I do, just really
mm-hmm.
keep that at top of mind.
Sure.
The other is they have fun, and I know that's not I wouldn't call it a characteristic, however, you you do wanna have fun, and that's the passion that comes out.
Sure.
Having seen a number of leaders that I look up to, they have fun and their energy is palpable and
Mm,
that radiates through their culture in their organization. And that in itself is something that you try to emulate. It goes down to again having a good balance on your team,
right.
but that's energy, and that's so much positive energy that you are sharing with other people that leaves a lasting impression.
That's awesome. So you made me think also of like when you look at team performance and look at the performance at your organization, what are some points of difference or how would you kind of describe your culture and what makes you guys special?
We do a lot in the communication area.
Mhm.
That's really what I think starts culture is you have to be able to listen, communicate, and then follow up. I don't think there's any master um, difference. It's being a servant leader. It's rolling up your sleeves, and all my team members, they do that alongside. We really have, been through a full turnaround, and we're still
Mm,
evolving through that, and it shows by being hand in hand with all of our colleagues, and I think that it goes down to you're not just talking the talk, you're
sure.
being able to walk the walk with them.
Oh, I love that. So as we come in for a landing, my favorite question is if you could talk to your younger self and give yourself some words of encouragement or wisdom, what would you say?
Well, I would say lead like a servant leader. So again, rolling up your sleeves, showing up. I mean, I show up sometimes in my workout clothes if I'm happening, just because it's like, okay, I want to at least be there, compete like an athlete, athletic mindset, is setting goals, achieving them, and continuing to move forward, especially if you fail. And
Mm-hmm.
keep your heart anchored in your why.
Mm,
Really, it's hard sometimes, and I think that, keeping that at the center for yourself will remind you of why you come into the facility every day, and then keeping faith. I mean, you have to keep faith. We talked a little bit about that earlier, and so I'd say
absolutely.
that's really key. Consistency beats intensity, and that's where I would say beats that's how you build a culture of excellence.
Oh, thank you, Ashley. This has been a pleasure to get to know you better and for you to share your insight with us. And I'm just grateful that we could invest the time to hear your leadership journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay, for having me.
My name is Mary Kay, and again, thank you for joining us for another edition of Wondermous, a healthcare leadership journey. We are dedicated to creating catalysts for positive, purposeful change. Blessings to you, and make every day count.